adventure for the next 1 hour and 50 minutes while I had some trouble with Crazy for Steam with and tonight we are going to be talking about what are we going to be talking about? Networking. Yes, we are going to be talking about networking. Let's see who we've got in the room, right? We've got a bit of a turnout. So we've got Amory Speaks, Artemis North, but I take it that's a bot. Okay, Cat Weasel, Damien J. Clay, Enchanted Spirit, Ethan D. Smith, Golden Dawn, Maverick Invictus, Mrs. Von Mises, Sarge, Junior Tech and Training, Shadows Pub, Simgirl, Sir Cork. I was hoping to be able to bring some guests in who wanted to add their contribution, because I did set up a feature which I was hoping was going to work. So if I wanted to bring in guests that I could hear them and you could hear them, but I don't know if it's going to work because for some reason now I have no volume control for my sound. But the main thing is if you can hear me, then that's what it is all about. All right, okay, so hopefully everybody is well. I do apologize for not being here last week. Seemingly that the powers that be out of my control decided not to give me any internet. And I was told by my internet service provider that they were going through an upgrade and there would be no internet till Wednesday. So you can imagine what I was like. I was kind of tearing my hair out for 48 hours. I had crappy 3G, sometimes 4G, or I had to go 45 minutes into town, in which case to use the internet. All right, okay. So what we're going to be talking about tonight, guys, is all about networking. What is networking? How can networking work for you? What can you gain from networking? How networking plays an important part in what you do on the platform. We're going to be talking about all of this right now. So hopefully I'm coming through loud and clear. I'm just reading some. Oh, you know what? I've just realized I'm in the complete wrong chat room. There you guys are. There you go. I was looking and seeing all this technical chat and then I'm thinking, what is going on? And then I realized that I was in the completely wrong channel. So hopefully everybody can hear me. Yep, coming through loud and clear. So let's have a look here. All right. Just want to double check. Can everybody still hear me? Somebody said lost you on my end. Let me just double check. Can hear on the stream, not in the channel. Okay, well that's a bot issue. Okay, and I don't know how to do the bot. So if somebody could kindly let Sir Cork or ANCAP know for me. And I would suggest that anybody and everybody anyway should be on the Twitch TV Steam Star, because I do a lot of video sharing anyway. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm just opening up my steemit page now. Right, come out there and I am exactly where I want to be. So, alright guys, so, no, that's not what I'm looking for. There we go. So we're talking about networking tonight. So what is networking? Okay, can anybody in the chat, for anybody that's listening that's not in the chat, we do have a rather wonderful Discord chat as well, which you, hopefully if you're looking on the SteamStar network or YouTube or various other platforms, you can see our lovely chat. Can somebody tell me in the chat room, what do they perceive networking to be? So tell me, what do you think that networking is, guys, in your own words? So somebody give me an example of networking. Somebody give me an example of networking. Just go have a quick drink. I'm seeing several people typing. I'm just having a quick drink so there are no crickets. because we don't like crickets, don't we not? We don't like crickets at all. Right, so Mrs. Von Miser says, I talk to people in 100 different communities networking. That is an excellent example. Golden Dawn says, making connections to further your brand, sharing ideas and brainstorming. That is another excellent example of networking. Absolutely great examples. So that is networking, guys. Networking is whether some people like the network or they don't like the network, the key thing is that everybody actually networks. SimGirl says networking is the process of meeting new people who you will form a mutual beneficial relationships. Absolutely, absolutely. That is so true, SimGirl. That is an excellent, excellent example. So it's the process of meeting people who we don't already know and that we form a mutual beneficial relationship. So some people might say, well, I'm not a networker. I've never networked in my life. And I would say to them that they're wrong. Because networking is even as basic and as simple as making a friendship and forming a friendship. So networking is literally is forming sort of a communication with somebody that we don't already know. And the thing is, if you can make friends, you can network. So how do we make a friend? Well, most of the time when we make a friend, how we do it is by we are normally introduced formally by somebody else. So somebody says, oh, crazy, this is Bob. Hi Bob, good to meet you. And this is Jim. Hi Jim, good to meet you. Okay, that's the foundation of the friendship. That helps us to determine, kind of what we're going to do next, and then it's up to us as to whether we choose that we want to probe further. And this is the same with networking. So when we make a friend, we want to find out a bit about them. So we might say, all right, okay, tell me a bit about yourself. Well, or they might say the same to us, tell me a bit about yourself. Well, I'm from XYZ and I work as, in this job. So they're expressing an interest or you're expressing an interest in what they do. Networking is exactly the same. So if you're shy, the good thing is that you can treat it just like you're making a friend. There's absolutely no difference. There really, really isn't. It's all about, with networking, is to find out as much as you can about each other and whether you have things in common, a mutual interest, maybe a mutual goal. So when we look at that from a networking perspective, and I only know this because a couple of years ago, people might have, I don't know if anybody's ever heard of an organization called BNI, Business Network. It's either Business Network International or Business Network Institute. And this is a massive organization, and people build their business on the strength of word of mouth through the power of networking. So I used to be, because what they do is they kind of have it as, they call each group a chapter. It's a bit like the Freemasons, except like you don't have to roll your trouser leg up when it comes to actually doing joining a chapter, but it is pretty expensive as well. But BNI, Business Network International, it runs off this sort of principle of where you get to know the people in your chapter, and what you want to do is or what you both want to do is you want to find common interests. So let's say, for instance, I'm going to pick on some people in the room here. Now let's say SimGirl, we're going to make SimGirl a graphic designer. Okay, so she's now a gaming graphic designer. So congratulations, SimGirl. I've just promoted you. And Artemis North has a clothing line. Okay, so SimGirl is a graphic designer. Artemis North has a clothing line. All right, so she is a top designer. I mean, guys, we're talking bigger than Hugo Boss. We're talking bigger than Hugo Boss, and SimGirl is She is a massive game designer. She is the biggest game designer in the world. And SimGirl and Artemis North have just met. Okay, so what we want them to do now is to be networking and see if they have a common ground. So SimGirl and Artemis North might formally introduce each other, and for the purpose of it, because we're protecting identity, right? And plus, I don't know their real names. So SimGirl might go say something along the lines of this: "Hello, my name is SimGirl," and Artemis North goes, "Hello, my name is Artemis North." Now, my accents are pretty shocking, I would say that. But the thing is now that Artemis North might say to SimGirl, "Okay, tell me about yourself. What do you do?" SimGirl's going to come back and say, "Well, I create games. I'm a graphic designer, and this is my platform." Now, it could be that Artemis North might know a bit about what SimGirl does, or she might have heard about the company, so she can really relate to that, and she can say, "Hey, you know what? I've heard about that company. I've heard some really, really good things. Wow, you head up that company? That's really good." Okay, so Artemis North is expressing a massive interest in what SimGirl's doing. So at the same time, SimGirl is going to feel pretty pumped up, isn't she? Because she's going to be thinking, wow, this person knows about me and knows about my company, and I'm really impressed. So they get talking and everything's going along fine. And SimGirl's telling Artemis North some things about gaming, and Artemis North's listening with interest. And then SimGirl says to Artemis North, "Well, tell me what you do." And Artemis North comes along and she says, "Well, you know what? I have a clothing line, and this is my clothing line." And SimGirl goes, "Wow, you have that clothing line? Do you know that 80% of my wardrobe comes from your stores?" And Artemis North goes, "Wow, that's incredible. That is the best news I've heard all day. Wow." Okay, so what they're doing now is they're forming an alliance, so to speak. But what we don't know at this point is whether it's going to be purely on a business level or whether it'll be a personal level. So they could, at this point, they could leave as friends and as a contact for each other, or they could potentially do business. It just depends on how each one wants it to be. Okay, so Artemis North might say, "Hey, you know what? I am so impressed with your gaming that I was hoping to get in touch with you because I wanted to see if you would consider putting some of your designs on my clothes." Do you get where this is going, guys? Do you understand where this is going? So Artemis is saying, "Well, I want to get some of your designs on my clothes. Would you like to have a chat about that?" Okay. So, sorry guys, let me just check. All right, okay. SimGirl says, "Hey, you know what? That's a really good idea. Let's do that. Let's sort something out. Let's get together." And what they've started to do from that just initial introduction is, by finding out a little bit about each other, is they've managed to, or they could do some business together and both get something out of it. All right. Now, why would this be any different on the platform? All right, so let me tell you about personally how I network. All right, let me tell you about how I network. But before I do, let me just get a drink, because I can feel my top lip sticking to my teeth. So how can we mutually use networking on the platform? So let's have a look here. So Mrs. Van Muysen says, "Mutually beneficial voluntary exchanges, the basis of anarcho-capitalism." Artemis North wants to know what I'm drinking. If I said Coke, I'd be lying. I am drinking Coke, but I have a spirit in there as well. It's not a lot. It's just a little bit of rakia, or what you would know as brandy. Okay, but just a very small, just to get me back in the motion. I'm not getting sauced. This will be my one and only. I actually went out earlier on today, guys. We went out for a meal at a hotel. This is another example of me networking. So a group of friends and I went to a hotel, and I'm going to tell you this story because it's the perfect example of networking. There's a hotel. I'll put the what's the word I'm looking for? The link. It's on Facebook, guys. Sorry to tell you, but they do have a Facebook page. But there's a hotel, and I went over to this hotel today. It's a beautiful hotel in a lovely location in the middle of nowhere. And we ate and we drank, and the sun was shining. We had a really good time. And I got talking to the owners because I said, I only happened to look at this hotel by chance because it's on a Facebook page. Why do you not actively market it? And I got really talking to the guy, and the guy says, well, I've had the building for 14 years, and year on year, I've been renovating it. And what I'm hoping to do at the end of the renovation is to have it fully open and established all year round. And I said to him, I said, well, I'm glad you said that because I noticed over the winter that he closed. And he says, yeah, he says, we don't get anybody come over in the winter. And I said, well, look, I noticed that you do very little advertising. Do you mind if I ask why? And he said, I don't really know what to do. So I said, well, if you want, let's get together at some point because I introduced myself. I told him about what I did and that I noticed that he was on Facebook and he was on the booking.com site, but that he needed to know how to make the internet work for him. Now, the biggest problem he had as well is he has no internet at that hotel. So that's a bad thing, right? Doesn't help, right? I mean, this day and age, probably, a high percentage of business relies on internet marketing. Now, I don't claim to be an internet marketer at all, but I said to him, look, I can give you some handy hints. Then we got talking about, I said to him, can I have a rakia? And he brought me a rakia out, and I said, that's really good. Where do you get it from? And he says, I get it from a guy in the local village. And we were all talking because we now make our rakia with fresh fruit. So we do a really beautiful, delightful strawberry one. And I said to him, I said, would you be interested in a sample about the possibility of selling it from your hotel? And he says, yeah, I'd be very, very interested. So these are the kinds of things that I was doing. I was asking a lot of probing questions, and I was kind of getting a feel for what he wanted to do with the hotel and where he wanted to go with it. And he was asking me about where I was originally from, how long I had been here, how I found the hotel, what I thought of the food. And we kind of build up this, not friendship, but this alliance where now, I'm probably going to be going back. In fact, I know I'm going back there for a barbecue, but I'm probably going to go back there next week because I'm going to tell you what, guys, they do the best fries in all of Bulgaria. I mean, with fresh potatoes and, they were just amazing. I could have ate the plate of fries alone, let alone anything else. But needless to say, I'll probably be going back next week and I'll keep on feeding in. And he's doing business as well with his meat with a local English guy I know who's opened a butcher's here. So this is another example of networking. But if I were looking at it from a platform point of view, how would I network with somebody that I don't know? Well, the thing is, the problem is with the platform is it's not exactly black and white, is it? Networking can either happen because it's forced, so that you're deliberately going out there to network to people, or it can literally fall on your lap. So when I told you about the guy, the story of the guy, Young Boss, who I'm mentoring, that was the one which mainly fell on my lap. So Young Boss and I, although it's kind of networking and it's kind of mentoring, but it's networking in the sense that I want to know what Young Boss does because I want to know. I always look when networking about not what I get out of it, but what value we can bring to the platform. Is when I network with people, I always say to myself, well, if it benefits me, okay, but does it benefit the platform? Do people from the platform get more out of this? Now, I've noticed chat has gone very quiet here. So either you guys are listening with intent or nobody can hear me. So I'm just going to have a quick look through chat here. I know that people were talking about getting sourced. All right. Okay, Artemis is listening with intent. Okay, so these are the kinds of things of how I might network. So I could network on a couple of different ways. I might network and say, the first thing that I might do with a network is I'm going to use a community that I did recently with a network called Adzactly. Is anybody at all here a member of Adzactly? ADSACTLY. I don't know if anybody is or not, but I only joined just oh, bless you, Enchanted Spirit, thank you. Okay, so some people have just joined, some people are already a member of it. So one of the things that I do now whenever I join a community as a means of networking is I say to the members, look, what can I do to help you? I don't look at it for what I get out of it personally. I look at it of what I can do to help the members out there. What can I do to get you more views? What can I do to get you more upvotes? What can I do to make you a better person on the platform? Because here's the reason why I do it. The reason why I do it is there's a guy, I used to work in multi-level marketing about two and a half years ago. And there's a guy called the Right Honourable Charles Wiggader, and he runs this MLM company. Now, I'm not going to diss the company because actually they're doing really well. They sell like gas, electric, phone, internet, mobile, and they put everything on one bill, and it gives like mega discounts, and it's doing really well in the UK. Now, what Charles Wiggader said, and I always remember this, and I always kind of echo this philosophy now, is that what he says is, I don't determine my success upon myself, but by how many people become successful because of me. So I'm just going to say that again. I don't determine my success upon myself, but by how many people become successful because of me. So in other words, what he's doing is he is looking at helping other members because he isn't worried about his own success because he knows that's going to come. He knows that's going to come, guys. He knows he's going to get it, and he knows he's going to get there. What he wants to do, though, is he wants to forget about his success for a while and put it on the sideline and concentrate on the people that he can help. Now, can you imagine we're about, according to, what's it called? Let me think. Bloomberg. According to Bloomberg, we're more or less at 1 million. I don't know if anybody heard, but Ned was on Bloomberg early hours of this morning from Tokyo, and Bloomberg were having a chat with Ned, which was rather interesting, but we're not going to talk about that. But Bloomberg says, are you more or less at 1 million? And we know that out of that 1 million, there is nowhere near 1 million people who are using the platform. But if we, as the active ones, went out with the philosophy of saying, look, what can I do to make other people successful? And just forget about our own success for a moment. You know what, guys? The platform would grow a hell of a lot more than where it's growing at the moment. It really, really would. If we just put ourselves aside for the moment and went out there with the philosophy of thinking, you know what? I write content, that's good, but is it good enough? What can I do to help other people? What can I do to help other people and help other people grow? Because if we taught those people that same philosophy and told them exactly what to do at the same time to grow and help others, then we have kind of created a model. And networking plays a big part of this. And I think Mrs. Von Mises has just said something there, which is Sir Cork is a networking guru, which he is. Contrary to popular belief, he has only one Lambo. But yeah, Cork is definitely, I would say, he is a networking guru. And the great thing is, as well, with Cork, he wouldn't have a problem with networking as well, because he's not like other people. You see, the thing is, guys, the only thing that stops you from being good at networking is yourself. Networking isn't, it's not a skill that you're born with, it's something that you learn. It's something that you learn. But by reaching out to people and getting to know them and helping them out and creating amazing initiatives can make beautiful things. Do you know how I created Beyond the Veil? My server with Lena. I mean, Lena's on a sabbatical at the moment, bless her. She might come in. Someone tag her, she might come in, we'll never know. But how I did it with Lena is one night I was doing oh my goodness, this is what comes with learning a second language because I forget English. On a tarot reading, that's right. I was working on a tarot reading on Day Live one night and Lena was along supporting me. And the tarot reading was going okay, but it was very, very quiet. And I said to Lena, you know, I see a bit of a problem that there's not really a central point for anybody to come to chat about things to do with, you know, the spiritual and the supernatural. And Lena says, yeah, you're right. And we together we said, you know, we talked for hours and then we decided to set up a server. Now, I had only met Lena about 3 or 4 weeks before because Lena has a show on here called Cabinet of Curiosities, which is right up my street. And I absolutely love listening. And I hope she comes back soon because, God, I miss it. And she does a show called Cabinet of Curiosities, and I really got to know her, and I got to know about her interests. This was a big deal for me in the networking. I'm like, right, you like the strange and the weird and the wonderful. What do you like? Do you like about Sasquatch? Do you like about poltergeist? Do you like about, you know, the Bermuda Triangle? And we really got talking. We built up this great friendship. And the thing was, it was so crazy because we had hardly known each other. And yet Lena and I just felt like we had known each other for years. We really did feel like we had known each other for absolutely years and years and years. And we continue, you know, at the moment, as I say, she's on a sabbatical, bless her heart. But Lena, if you're listening, I hope you are well. We miss you. We love you. Please, please come back when you're ready. And we'll be here for you to support you as always, because this is, and I'm just going to break just nicely. This is the Steam Star Network. Good evening if you just joined us. My name is Crazy BJ Adventure and I am your host for this evening on Crazy for Steam, the show that tells Steamians everywhere how to be amazing on the platform. That is a terrible tagline. But thank you so much for joining us. The show is on every Monday, 6 p.m. UTC for 2 hours. And right up after the show, don't forget, guys, don't be going anywhere because we have the lovely Rhonda Kay who's going to be coming on with her show. And she is probably going to have some magnificent guests lined up. So thank you so much for being here, guys. We have a really good crowd. Anne-Marie Speaks says, what a good point, Crazy BJ Adventure. I love the idea of giving a helping hand to create strong relationships and start off networking. Well, this is the thing as well, is because if we learn how to network efficiently, then what we're also doing is, whether we do it on a conscious or subconscious basis, that if we network with other people, we're showing them what to do, right? Are we not? If we're meeting these people and we're telling these people that we want to network with them and we want to show them that we're interested and we want to help them grow and we want to help them mature and we want to make the platform a better place, then are we helping them? Sim Girl says, have to give 3 compliments before you ask for favours. That's another good point, yeah. It should never be about you. It should never be about you, especially in the early days. Sometimes as well, you know, guys, another thing that you can do, here's another handy hint, is you can do what you call a one-to-one. I'm going to leave that with you for just a second. So another thing that you can do with networking is you can do something called a one-to-one. So again, this goes back to the days when I was in Business Network International. What I would do is, Business Network International, every chapter had about 20, well, it didn't have a certain number. Some chapters had more than others, but on average it was about 28, 30 members, and every member you had something like a hairdresser, an architect, a solicitor, a lawyer, a solicitor, an accountant, and every other trade that you can think possible. And the whole purpose of them was to network, just like we did with Artemis North and SimGirl, where they network with each other and they create new business. And what I would do is, one of the things I would do is called a one-to-one. And what I would do is I would arrange with each one, okay, and say, look, I want to have a meeting with you where I can learn everything that I need to know about you, okay, and if you want, you can ask about me. If you don't want to, that's fine, because it's not you asking me, it's me asking you. And they would nearly always go, yeah. And I would then go and meet up with them and I'd say, right, tell me about your business. How long have you been in the business? What are your customers like? What are your staff like? How hard is your job? How can I get you more business? How can I make you more successful? So I would write all the information down, because what would happen is every Friday we would have our meeting and each other would actively look for business for other people. So I would always have referrals. I would always have referrals with people. I would always say, look, I have this, you know, if I had like a hairdresser and I had the one-to-one with her, and then I was talking to my friend and my friend says, you know what, I so need to get my hair cut this week, I just haven't had time. Oh, well, you know what, I have this great friend who's a hairdresser and she is a mobile hairdresser and she's fabulous and she'll come out and cut your hair. Can I get her to call you? And she would say, yeah, normally it would be like, yeah, that's wonderful. And I would have a referral for them. That's besides the point though. Getting back to the one-to-one, because I don't want to sidetrack. I found out everything that I needed to know about them in order for me to help them, because I knew that even if they didn't ask me, the chances were they would feel obliged to kind of return the favour. And normally every single time they did. You know, every single time I had a one-to-one, I would get so much business from having one-to-ones with people and just talking to them and getting to know them and getting more about them and saying, hey, what can I do to get you more viewers? Or what can I do to get you more business? Why can't Steemit be any different? Now, let's just have a quick look at chat. Telemarketing. Okay, the thing being is with telemarketing is this is different, because what we're doing is, by this point with the one-to-ones, guys, is this is after, so these are the one-to-ones with the people that we know. So you wouldn't need to ever worry about making a random call to somebody and saying, hey, you know what, let's have a one-to-one, because that person's going to think that you're crazy. They're going to think you're nuts. Yeah, they're going to think that you're absolutely nuts. Definitely. But a one-to-one is another way. So why can't we not do that? Why can't we not, you know, I speak to lots of people on an individual basis. I'm not going to say the people that I do speak to on an individual basis because they might not want that. But I do. I speak to a lot of people on a daily basis every single day. And I do it for a number of reasons. Do you know, guys, as confident as what I might appear to sit here, there's people that I go to and say, you know what, I've got an idea and I think it's a terrible idea and I need you to tell me whether it's a bad idea or not. It's true, honestly. And they'll say, right, well, what's your idea? They'll say, this is my idea. They'll go, oh my God, that's brilliant. You know? When I did the Shout Out Saturday idea, I thought it was terrible. I thought it was the worst idea in the world. And people went, no, that's not. That's actually a pretty good idea. You know? I mean, there is a perfect example as well of networking. Shout Out Saturdays. Shout Out Saturdays is an excellent example of networking. If you do Shout Out Saturdays the right way, the way that it was originally intended, then that technically, guys, you're networking. Yeah, absolutely. It is. Yeah, it was an awesome idea. Absolutely, Artemis North. But if you're doing it for the way it was intended, then let me tell you the thing with Shout Out Saturdays. If you use Shout Out Saturdays as the way I originally intended, number one, you will never run out of people to shout out about. Number two, you will meet so many interesting and amazing people. And here is the best way that you can do it. If you go on to the steemit network, onto the platform, and one of the things I like to do, I hate trending pages. I hate them. But what I will look at is the introduce yourself posts. And I'll also look at new. And I can almost hear everybody now going, oh, I don't want to do that. Well, I didn't want to either. I really didn't want to either. Because I know what it's like, guys. You go through these posts and there's a lot of crap there. There is a hell of a lot of crap there. And you're like, don't want to know that person. Never, ever, 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 ever judge a book by its cover. Never. So what I would do is, firstly, is if you go on a trending page, just skip anything with a ridiculously high amount and it's a shit post. Just skip it. But look lower down. Look lower down. Okay? Look at the posts which have made anything between $2 and $10 and take a look at the people. See what they do. Okay? See what they've got to contribute. Are you interested in the article? Are they good for the platform? Are they new? Can you help them? What can you get out of it? You know, is what they wrote for the platform good for you? Is it good for the platform? If so, can you reach out to them? Can you help them? Yeah? Can you help them? Because the thing is, if you do that, and Artemis North just hit the nail on the head, I feel special you responded to me. Exactly. If you reach out to them and you engage with them and you learn about them, you've got somebody there for your Shout Out Saturdays. So if you then write that down about that person and about what they do and things like that, and you've got a minimum of 3 people, you don't have to have 6. I personally tend to do 6 because I talk to shitloads of people. But you can just do 3 if you want. But you know what? If you do that and you get to know them and you shout out about them and you make them feel special, I promise you guys, those people are going to be your alliances in the future. We have a huge circle now, but that circle's only going to get bigger. And if we follow the things like this that we do, it really is, it's going to get bigger. It's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. Because the last thing that I want to see with Shout Out Saturdays, I can't make you guys do anything. The Shout Out Saturdays is done the way that you want to do it. I get that. I can't change that at all. But what I'll tell you is, guys, is that if you are not actively going out there and looking for new people, there will come a time where you're going to run out of people to talk about. And you know what? Then you're going to start going, well, what's the point of doing the post? Well, I'll just miss it for this week. Oh, well, I'll miss it for next week as well. And then Shout Out Saturdays might just die. But the good thing is that it won't die because more and more people are saying it. You know, every time now on a Saturday that I get tags, I'm seeing more and more people use it. But how good would it be if, even if 3 times a week you met people, wrote down about them, had your post ready for Saturday, bang it out on Saturday, you've got Saturday content covered, and you've shouted out about some amazing people, and you've made some new relationships? How good would that be? How good? Anka Barbie's Mrs. Von Mises has invited me to come to New York City, and it'll be loads of shit people. Well, this is the good thing. It's about wading through it and finding the diamonds in the rough, isn't it? You know, I was pretty annoyed today, guys, because steemit at the minute, according to Bloomberg, is not doing that well. I'll tell you about that in a minute. Bloomberg said today, one of the questions that they asked and said, I can't remember exactly what the question was, but one of the things that they did say is, well, the content's not that great, is it? That's what Bloomberg said about steemit. You know, is that the word that's going out there at the moment, that the content's not that great? Which, to be honest, a large majority of it isn't. But whose job is it then to make it great? You know, whose job is it to make steemit better? Is it down to steemit, the people who lead it? Is it down to us? Where does it fall? And then if it's down to whoever it's down to, whose responsibility then is it to educate the people that are doing a bad job? Because according to Bloomberg today, the word, bird on the word, want to say, you know, they're saying, reading that the content's not so great. But Artemis Snow said it's ours and taking the time to help new people. Exactly. Exactly. Now, I'm not saying that we need to spend 100% of our time to do it. But if that's what it's going, if that's the way that steemit's being seen, you know, I still think we can change it. I don't know if I'm kind of, you know, if I'm kind of wasting my time by saying it, but I really think that steemit has a future. I do. It doesn't matter how many times people say to me, oh, you know what, all this is happening, and as soon as the US or something else comes along, you know, it's probably going to be better there. The thing being is, guys, the grass isn't always greener on the other side. And I still don't think that steemit's going anywhere. I think that we have a wonderful community, and I think we can make that community even bigger. But the things like networking are really, really important key things that we need to do is to find out about these people, because if we can't just judge something on a face value. Can't do that. We can't, you know. That person who's wrote the 3 sentences in that post, we can't just judge it and say, well, this post isn't that good, because what if the person doesn't know? Why can't we not network with them and say, hey, you know what? Saw that post. Interested to know why you did 3 sentences. Here's my name. Pleased to meet you. Tell me about yourself. Why you come on the platform? Why do you like blogging? Why do you want to blog? What do you want to get out of it? Yeah? What can we do? Because these could be our future allies. You know, use me. You could use me as an example, guys. You honestly could use me as an example. And I'm sure that Enchanted Spirit would not mind at all backing me up here, because in January, I was a shit blogger. Terrible. Absolutely pants. I'm not saying that I'm the best blogger now, but I was crap. Really bad. And I just didn't know what to do. I didn't have a clue. And I was just running around in circles going, oh, I'm just going to try this, I'm just going to try that. Until I personally reached out. Not everybody's going to do it, but I personally reached out and I said, you know what, I need some help. I really need some help. And then I started reaching out to a few more people and a few more people. But not everybody's going to do that. Not everybody's going to do that. Or some people are going to do it, but they just don't know where to look. And again, if we can help them see what they need to do, or if we can put them at least in the right direction, it might help these people, you know. And as well, it might get you, hopefully, what I would anticipate is that what it's going to do for you is it's going to increase your followers, and that's genuine followers, not dead followers. It's going to increase your followership. It's going to increase your engagement. It's going to increase your upvotes. It's going to It's basically there's so many more benefits to doing that than what there are disadvantages. Let's have a look here. So Anne-Marie Speak says, I try to reach out to newbies for the newbie Steam Day, and most people are happy to help and happy to have the help and pointers. Emery Speaks, if there is a Discord or if there's any links regarding that, feel free to share that because I think that's excellent. You have my full permission, not a problem. Mrs. Von Mises says that she was pretty bad at it too. Didn't get any pointers till she applied to join the Alliance. There we go. She applied to join just prior to me, actually. And actually, I think it was Mrs. Von Mises. That's how I ended up joining the Alliance. And there's a vast difference in the post before and after. Yeah. Encouragement goes a long way. It really does. It really does. Because believe it or not, let's not forget that there is still trolling that goes on the platform. You know, there's still trolling that goes on the platform. And if you've got a newbie and people are coming along leaving bad comments for them, it's just going to put them off. And then they're going to go around and they're going to deliberately tell everybody and say, you know what, don't join steemit, it's shit. It's crap. And then the people are going to listen to them. And that's really sad. It's really sad. Mrs. Van Meiser says, most of my incentive to remain as a teacher in the playground is the help they freely offered me. And if anybody does want to be part of the new BB team, Amory Speaks has just invited on the server. Does anybody have any questions? We're coming up to, wow, we've been at this almost 50 minutes. Anybody have any questions, any thoughts, any comments? Crickets. Also, if anybody does want to come to the show control booth, I'm just not sure if I can hear you guys. I could hear you before, but when I started the stream, I couldn't. If anybody does want to make a comment, head on over into the show control booth. Don't know if it's going to work, but we'll certainly try. Because I can't. It was going on. Mrs. Von Mises, welcome.
You know, I'm always down to come talk shit.
Yay! Now, before we continue, Mrs. Von Mises, can everybody hear Mrs. Von Mises? Please let me know. Yes! You know what? For the first time, I've done something right. Yes! I can now have guests on my show. Woohoo! I am on such a high. Okay, Mrs. Von Mises, what is it that you wanted to contribute?
I just was coming to make sure that the audience could hear your guests. Really, I don't know. I don't have any contact. I kind of just spit them out as they come, my contributions.
No problem at all. No problem. What did you think? Is there anything that you wanted to add? Is there any, do you disagree with anything? Is there anything that you do? Do you use networking for steemit? Or do you not bother? Do you just stay within your circle? What's your thoughts on it?
Well, I personally don't have a circle, and I think Sarge can kind of attest to the same thing. That I personally, well, my view on steemit gets a little off the topic of networking, but no, I think you hear a lot about finding a niche, and it's almost cliche that you hear that within steemit, that you should find a niche and kind of focus on that audience. But I disagree, because I think that's contrary to the nature of networking. And I mean, if you have a message, a good message, whatever it is, like more than one specific group is going to appreciate that message. Not only that, but I think part of the advantage to this platform is that we can break free of those echo chambers and, just preaching to the choir and stuff, and kind of reach across those boundaries and build bridges, really. And that's what I personally tried to do. I'm a part of 100 different communities and like 80 different discords and stuff like that, and I don't really feel like obliged. I mean, I kind of feel obliged to all of them, but then I'm not like committed to any of them. I don't have like a community But I think that's important. I think we can use this to build bridges and reach across those barriers that our society is trying so hard to put up between us.
I think it's a very, very valid point. I mean, I know you're a mod in other networks as well, and I guess that how much networking would you do? Like, say for instance, you're a mod on the LGBT. So, how much networking do you do with new members when they come on there? I mean, would you say that you hold their hand and show them around the server, or would you go beyond that and actually, help them out if they had a genuine problem with something to do with on the platform, or would you just point them to a specific community, for instance?
I don't know that I would have like an answer that's kind of general to the question. I mean, if for new members, I really just welcome them, and if I'll answer their questions, but I don't hold anybody's hand. I expect everybody to be adults, and if they need help with something or have a question, they should ask, and I'm certainly willing to help them. But I mean, we all of us have enough to do, as it is without that. And I'll take my time out to help someone, but I'm not like going and begging to do so. Please let me help you. And at some point, it becomes parenting. And I expect everybody to be adults. And if they have a question or need help with something, they should ask.
Absolutely. I completely see where you're coming from. And the thing being is, with that perspective, that's absolutely fine. Yeah, Lena, welcome to the show. It's good to hear you. It's good to see you back. I give you a shout out before, Lena. I don't even know if she's listening in. Is she listening in? She might be, she might not. Um but yeah, I completely get where you're coming from there, Mrs. Von Misers. Sarge, I see you're in. Is there anything that you want to add, Sarge?
Yes, and disclaimer. All statements made here are the opinion of Sarge, and his opinions are like his armpits. Both of them stink from time to time because I have a couple. When it comes to networking, honey, let me tell you something. If you're new to Steam or even if you're old, be real. Be real. I have a little bit of notoriety on Steam because of some bad behavior, because of some good behavior. But you got to be real. You got to be you, honey. You got to be you. Don't think your life's not interesting. There's somebody out there interested in what you're interested in. You know what I mean? Hey, if you like to crochet, go over there and visit Artemis North. She got fiber arts. And, if you're into photography, go visit her too. Giving Artemis a little plug there with the fiber arts and the coffee hour and everything that aired earlier. Hey, find what you're good at. Don't try to impress people. If you're going to comment on a post, because that's networking too, don't say, nice post. I know my post is nice, otherwise I wouldn't put the damn thing out there. Okay? Engage with people. Don't upvote people because they're your buddy, which I do, and I'm going to stop doing that. Upvote it because what they had to say was very interesting. And, if you just want to give them a holler, don't upvote, just leave a comment. And I'm going to tell you what, a lot of people don't appreciate that. They really are. Because if you leave a good comment, they know you actually looked at what they produced and they probably spent a lot of time on it. I'm not a content creator. I'm not good at it or anything else. But like everybody else, I want people to look at my stuff. I'd like to be successful on here. I've been on here since August of last year. I've watched a lot of these initiatives begin. I've watched a lot of people succeed better than me. And believe me, I'm a little jealous. But you know what? You just got to be you. And I'm going to tell you where this came from. This came from Shadow's Pub. She never said it to me in particular, but she's always kind of said that. Just be you, you know, networking. It's not selling you. it's being you. And, you know, Crazy made a whole lot of great advice here and everything here on his podcast. You know, if you help others, you are going to be a success. You're going to be part of their success. You know, better than SBD, better than Steam, Power, and everything else. You can always sit back and say, I just had a little part in that person's success. And that's something you can hang on to because, hell, Steam might go down to 50 cents tomorrow. You don't know. Just buy the dip. And that's all I'm going to say about trading. Just buy the dip. But, you know, just be you, be real, and you'll get a lot of respect out of people. And that's all Sarge has got to say. Thank you for watching the Steam Star Network and Crazy About Steam.
What an absolutely excellent explanation, and I couldn't agree more. Shortly we're going to be joined by Shadow's Pub, but before we do, Sarge, that was absolutely excellent. I completely agree. It is all about being yourself. That is another extremely important key factor. If you're not yourself and you pretend to be somebody that you're not, guys, you're wasting your time. You really are. You're wasting your time because you're not going to help the person. Don't make out as well. Definitely do not make out to be that you're somebody that you're not. You know, some people, especially newbies, think that even with a rep of 57 or something, like you're very big and, you know, you're the all-seeing eye, know it all, and as nice as it is, it's just not true. It's just not true. So be sure as well, like what Sarge said, it's really important that you are yourself. Now, guys, be prepared because I have a very special guest. I have missed this woman for so long. She is my savior. She is my hero. She has, when she's on her when she had her show a few weeks ago, it is one of the best shows on the network. It's Lena DR. Lena, sweetie, how are you?
Oh, that's such a nice intro. Aw, I'm doing all right. How are you? How is everybody out there anyways? I haven't been on Discord actually talking in, God, it's been forever.
It has been, well, it's felt like forever. I mean, we're just ticking by, you know, we're just ticking along. Everything's good. Nothing really new to report. Apart from, as you can see, I've got a radio show, and I get to speak to lovely people like you. And tonight we've just been talking about networking. But I thought it would just be nice because Sarge was saying the same as me and saying, "Oh, we miss our Lena. How is she?"
Aw, that's sweet. I'm actually doing really well. You know, strangely enough, I was just going back. I was on my phone a second ago. Aw, I miss you too, Cork. I miss everybody. Um, a funny thing though, I was going back and reading stuff about being authentic, you know, and Sarge was saying, you know, be your real self, and people put on so many different masks and things like that, and it's really interesting. I'm slowly discovering that I need to be disconnected, you know, and of course I'm saying that on Discord, a chat channel, but that's kind of why I've separated myself lately, and it kind of sucks because I've met so many really awesome, amazing people that I really miss. But I find that I'm a lot happier. I know, while live streaming, whoops. Get off live streaming, people. No, I find that I'm a lot happier. I'm just one of these people, I guess, that needs to be disconnected more than connected. And for a while there with my show, you know, I was online all the time. Hey, Cat Weasel, what's up? I was online all the time, whether doing research or whether doing my show, and I loved doing my show and listening. I was always on Discord listening to shows and things like that, and I really got burned out. I haven't, like, I'm on my laptop now. I bought a super awesome computer for my show, and I turned it on yesterday for like 5 minutes to do something. but I'm really kind of enjoying my quiet time off of the internet and off of all that stuff. It's really weird.
Yeah, I completely understand where you're coming from in regards to that, because it can also, which can be another danger about working on the platform, because when you're doing it and you're living it and you're there for, like, what feels like 24/7, and you feel like you have no time to kind of to catch up and be you, with some you time. And it's really important. It really, really is important. And that should be a lesson to everybody, as great as it is that we have the platform and we have Discord and everything else. But what's equally as important, that we take the time out for us. I kind of sorry, Lena, I'm not trying to bring it back to the platform, but what I do is, when I do take a time out, or if I'll just go somewhere and I'll take some photos, and then I'll kind of write about it and say, you know what, I'm doing this thing, or I've been to this place and I had an entire day to myself and this is what I did. But for you to do that and completely, like, step out and kind of be you. I have a lot of respect for people like that equally as much, because, steemit can be a good thing, but it's not your life, and sometimes life is more important, and that's completely understandable. And but we do miss you, and we love you being here, and you're always welcome here as well. There's always a place for you, and I know Cork is going to be screaming in the background at me, echoing exactly what I've just said. Um, but there is always a place for you, absolutely, and you're very much admired, and we hope that you're having an amazing time.
Well, thank you. I am. I really am. And it's interesting because, uh, well, how do I say this? Um, you know, I say that, I'm offline and stuff, and there's a lot of people who I talk to that they say, man, that's the way to be. You need to be disconnected, you need to be offline and all that stuff. But then I've got one of my best friends. She is growing her Instagram, accounts, and she's an amazing photographer, and she wants to be an Instagram photographer, and you can get paid actually really good money for that. And so she's building up her online presence and everything, and that is, especially in today's world, that is a way to be. There's all sorts of, there's no wrong thing, is what I'm saying. So many people say, yeah, you need to be disconnected, you need to be offline and all that stuff. But there's so many, especially on Steemit and Discord, amazing people who I've met that I miss. So there are definitely different lifestyles. And so if your niche, like Shadows, Shadows, you said you tried and to get offline, you're like, that's not working. So if you thrive online in a community like this, then hey, more power to you, man. That's awesome. I just personally know I don't thrive, in this type of environment. In fact, oh my god. So okay, I have to get opinions. I'm last week I started a power down.
Wow.
I know. I just can't see myself posting anything anymore. And honestly, I went to Steemit to start the power down, and of course, you immediately go to the trending page, and I was just like, oh, good. And so I was like, yes, power down. But some people, they really thrive, in the Steemit community and blogging and interacting and networking and everything like that. And that's awesome, because I miss everybody. I met so many cool people, and I miss everybody.
Well, always feel free to drop in anytime and just say a hello, because we're always here for you, Lena.
Well, thank you so much.
You are more than welcome. And guys, if anybody who didn't know, this is Lena Dr. Lena has, we're not sure, but a show on Sundays which was called Cabinet of Curiosities, and she talked about some awesome things like Sasquatches and ghosts and things that go bump in the night and everything. And she, she's been on the platform for a long time, and she's still got a lot of friends here. Some people who really, really care about her, and yeah, I don't think that even though that she might be coming off the platform, I don't think it'll be the last that we see of Lena. Absolutely not.
Oh no, definitely not on Discord, for sure.
That's good. Oh, Lena, thank you so much, sweetie. And I'll make sure to catch up with you this week. Absolutely.
Okay, well, thank you for having me on your show.
You are welcome. Thank you for coming on my show. It's very much appreciated.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye, Lena. That was Lena DR. Now, before we get to our next guest, guys, we'll just do a quick stop just to remind you, if you have just joined us, welcome. This is me, Crazy BG Adventure, on the Steam Star Network this Monday evening, which runs from 6 p.m. UTC right up till 8 o'clock. Be sure not to go anywhere at the end of the show. We have 45 minutes of airtime remaining, and right after we have the lovely, delectable, beautiful, she is like velvety red wine, which is Rondak in her show. Which is everything and anything to do with riding. And she will be coming up at 8 p.m. UTC. So the next guest, I am really excited about talking about this now because it's my show and it's the first time I've managed to get my audio working. So I think that this guest is an excellent example of networking and what her initiative was, which is the PYPT, aka Pimpy Post Thursdays. It's Shadows Pub. Hello, Shadows Pub.
Hey, Crazy. How you doing?
I'm very, very well. Thank you so much for coming on the show. How are you?
Not too bad. I'm much happier today. I have power.
Oh, that's so good, because how long have you been without power?
Oh, Friday night at 8 o'clock.
Oh my goodness. And it's what, we're on Monday? Oh my goodness.
Monday, it came on sometime this morning.
That's a long time. I mean, the longest I've been out here is 7 hours. And that was Christmas Eve. And I was actually worried tonight because we're in storm season. And when there's the storm, the power tends to go out. But so far, so good. We haven't had a storm.
We had a powerful windstorm go through the province. And my feed comes from to the northwest of me. And apparently they've got something like 300 poles and towers and trees down all over the place up there. So it's been a mess.
Oh my goodness. But it's
Anyways,
over.
I'm back.
You're back. Okay. So I wanted you to join us because I think that your initiative plays maybe a major key role in networking, which you might agree. And for the purpose of the people who don't know about Pimpy Post Thursdays, would you like to tell us a bit more about it and how it works and how you also came up with the idea of it as well?
Well, Pimp Your Post Thursday actually is exactly that. It's a networking show. It's an opportunity to share a current post, either of yourself or somebody that you think might need a little bit more exposure on the platform. Certainly welcome people promoting other people. And, you know, it's an opportunity to get to know each other, to hear the voice, see what people are saying. And sometimes we have some really interesting discussions.
Wow. Yeah. So where did you get the idea from?
Well, I've been doing this Steemit Ramble manual curation post since August of 2016. And I decided to experiment and open up a Discord server, which for some strange reason I called it the Steemit Ramble. So I'm playing around with setting the Steemit Ramble up, and I'm looking at these voice chats, and I'm thinking, you know, it'd be kind of cool if people actually had a place that they could come and talk about their posts. So the first week in August, I gave it a try, and people liked it, and it's grown since then.
So that was
August. Sorry, the first week in October of 2017.
Wow. So that's October, November, December, January. So 8 months. And how many?
Wow, was it that long?
Yeah. This is the thing with Steemit, though. Doesn't it always feel longer than what it is?
No, actually, it didn't seem that long.
Oh my goodness! No, about 8 months that you're coming up. So, how many people would you say on average that you have like in a session? Because you run 2 sessions. You run a morning session and you run the evening session. So what's your average that you would say?
Well, it started off as just an evening one. And then I realized that that was going to be difficult for other time zones. So then we decided to add a morning one. I would say, just based on the number, I haven't actually counted most of the time, but I'd say anywhere from 50 to 75 people on a given show.
50 to 75 people. And now I know that you have to sacrifice your entire Thursday just to dedicate it, you know, from the morning right up until bedtime, basically, for Pimpy Post Thursday.
Yeah, it's we do this after chat, and as long as people want to chat, then we stay in the channel and chat, and it's not recorded. You get the recording, and then there's the after chat, and we get some interesting conversations. We've had some discussion on some difficult topics in there, and people have done it respectfully, and it's been really interesting watching the interaction going on.
And would you say that Pimpy Post, it helps people to meet other people, or have you seen examples of where Pimpy Post Thursday is giving people the opportunity to meet other people with, say, for instance, a similar interest or thinking that they can feed into them somewhat? Have you seen these kind of relationships forming?
Oh, absolutely. There's been all kinds of connections have been made on Pimp Your Post Thursday. I think one of them that I can probably be pretty sure got made on Pimp Your Post Thursday was the Bug IQ connecting up with Darrow's Neck, who's doing the artwork and animation work for just at a Planktown. That's what his series is.
Excellent. Yeah.
He met her on there.
Wow.
So that's one example right there.
So Plankton was a result of Pimpy Post Thursday, which is a really good initiative. And I know that the Bug, he deliberately used the bots to promote it because he wanted it to get a lot of exposure.
No. Planktown was something that Bug started. And he kind of tried it out on his own account, and it got a good response. He decided he was going to take it to make it into its own. And he was looking for a good artist, good video people, somebody good with video. And he met Darrow's Neck on Pimp Your Post Thursday, and they were able to get talking, and the connection was made.
See, that's amazing. And and that's like a lot of us, in fact, anybody who's not new and has been on the platform a while now, and we kind of go in the same circles, all know exactly what Plankton is. Which to me is I can't get over it. It's not, but every time I look at Plankton, I get Finding Nemo in my head. I shouldn't, I know, because it's not Finding Nemo, but I do. I get the Finding Nemo feel.
ANCAP has just said she got conscripted to do hots or shots on Pimp Your Post Thursday.
Now
that's true. She did.
That's another really good example of a networking. I wish is Johnny in? Is Johnny on here?
I don't see him in the audience.
Oh, that's a shame. I would have liked to have talked to him about that, because that's another really good example of networking. I mean, I've watched a few of, if anybody doesn't know what Hots or Shots are, it's run by Johnny Clearwater. And what he does is he does a video where he'll interview a member. And now I always get this wrong. I think it's either that you can do shots or spice.
Hot sauces.
Yeah, hot sauce, and basically you'll take a shot of it or a taste of it, and you answer questions. Now, and these can be really deep philosophical. I can't even say it. Philosophical questions.
Philosophical?
That's the one. Philosophical.
The show I saw with the Hots was they were eating chicken wings, and they kept adding the sauces to it as they progressed.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so he actually flips a coin, and there are a few exceptions with people like recovering alcoholics and stuff. But by and large, he flips a coin beforehand to determine whether it's going to be hots or shots. And then he has 10 predefined questions that he's going to ask, and they're not real personal or digging into your backstory or anything like that. Just kind of general questions. And then you answer the 10 questions. After each of them, you either try one of these hot sauces or take a shot of the bourbon that he's brought, depending on which way the coin landed. And so, needless to say, by the end of 10 of these questions, you're either your mouth is on fire or you're shit-faced drunk.
Yeah,
Yes, Lena did an episode of it. It was funny.
she did. I mean, the thing being is, of all the ones that I've seen, the hots and shots, it's always Johnny who's ended up inebriated. Any other person's been absolutely fine. And I mean, it's so interesting to watch, but it's so funny at the same time. I mean, the first one I watched was the one with Lena. And Lena was like straight laced at the end, like nothing's the matter with me. And there's Johnny slurring his words at the end and everything. It's really good.
I've grown peppers for about 20 years now, and I don't know if a bunch of y'all saw that hot sauce post I put up a week or 2 weeks ago or whatever. I'm going to be taking my own sauces that are hotter than anything he has on that show, and just in case I get hots, I'm also taking a bottle of single malt scotch, and just because Sir Cork is going to be there too, I'm also taking some high-grade marijuana.
Wow, you see. Now, I would have done a hots and shots with Johnny Clearwater, but the thing being is I don't think his budget stretches to where I am in Bulgaria, just as much as my budget doesn't stretch over currently to the USA. However, if you would like me to be a hots and shots, we could do a fundraiser, guys, if you want to get me over to the States, and I'll quite happily do a a session with them, not a problem. But I think Johnny might beat me. Definitely.
I
Yeah.
think if I'm not mistaken, when it comes to networking, I believe Cork met at least a couple of the people that are hosting or have hosted shows on Steam Star Network on Pimp Your Bowls Thursday.
Yeah, I mean, let me just think of an example. Damien Cork. Did you know Damien prior to PYPT?
There was Damien, there was Top K. And
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there is another excellent example of networking. I mean, some of the DJs that you're actually listening to on the Steam Star Network came from networking on PYPT. I mean, PYPT isn't just, I think it's fair to say that PYPT isn't just something where somebody just comes along and opens up and talks about a post that they did. These are people who are actively interested in what other people have to share about their posts and their content. So Damien, I know Damien writes poetry, and I know just talking about Damien now that Mrs. Von Mises has probably collapsed and fainted because she loves his voice. So she's probably going to be his avid #1 fan at the same time. Yeah, but
And so Cork is commenting in the audience chat there that in some of those instances he knew them from other spots, but he heard their voice on PYPT and essentially abducted them.
there we go. And then we learn, oh, they've got a radio voice. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But you see, the thing for my voice as well is I don't think I have, like, Ethan. I don't even think Ethan's online anymore, but I think Ethan is one of the best radio voices on Steam Star. He has, like, an amazing voice. Me personally, I think I just sound common as muck. But everybody seems to like it, and everybody likes my accent. So I can't argue with the vast majority of people.
And Cork is also reminding us that he met Artemis on there as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know Artemis has a fantastic voice when it comes to speaking. I think personally, between Americans and British, I think the American accent's much better because it's much more defined. It's very refined. It's very pronunciative. Unlike us Brits who our R is very lazy, so sometimes people can have a bad, especially me. You know, if I was to talk in my true dialect, honest to God, people, you would need subtitles because
We'll remind you that Artemis is not an American accent.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean that. Sorry, my apologies. I meant to say, I should have said the Canadian, my apologies. But, the same with the American Canadian, because you have a much harder R as opposed to us British people who have a very soft R. I think we're the laziest when it comes to the world for our R. Everybody else either pronounces it really hard or they roll it. I can't roll an R either. Don't ask me to, because I just couldn't do it.
Yeah, Artemis says you should hear our newfies.
Actually, you know what?
Sarge, Canadians are non-Americans. Take that and shove it. Thank you.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Here's the thing, about newfies. I listen to a show on Tuesday evenings called "What Do You At" on MSP, and it's with Buggy Durdle and Doghouse. And honest to God, I mean, they do all so well that they forget vowels. So they'll just say like, "Oh, today I went my cur," and and I got up my cur and went to the burr. And it cracks me up every time I listen to it. It's fabulous. It got up my cur, it went
Well,
to the burr.
we do love our newfies, even though we don't understand them a lot of the time.
Yeah, absolutely. Another beautiful part of the world. But yeah, I think it's fair to say that PYPT has a massive influence on networking, and it's definitely something more than just promoting posts.
Oh, very definitely. It's a place for people to get to know each other. And one of the ways that I really see that play out, and thank you, Genabot, for this, is that it's not uncommon after every PYPT show that I see comments being made on posts. Great to hear you on the Steemit Ramble, or great to hear you on PYPT. And I love seeing that because it shows the networking is working.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, if it weren't for PYPT, me personally, I think PYPT has a lot of influence as well on me. I mean, that I I obviously, I go on and I publish my posts, but I'm always keen to hear about what other people have to share, especially in the initiatives. I mean, I get so excited when I hear people saying, oh, I've got an idea for an initiative and this is what the idea is. And I'm like, wow, what can I do to help? Or, can I really reach out to these people and help them out? And it's really good. Oh, the other good thing as well is if you have an initiative. I mean, if it weren't for PYPT, Shout Out Saturdays, I don't think would have become as popular as what it is. And even Beyond the Veil newsletter, which I published the first episode last Wednesday, and we've had so much good feedback as a response of it. Which I need to thank Artemis because I couldn't be there on Thursday, but Artemis did a great job promoting it because we got a lot of good feedback from it. So thanks, Artemis.
Well, I mean,
it's a great initiative. The Shout Out Saturdays.
I mean, your show is like this episode of Crazy Show is about networking, and your show PYPT is like an epitome of that. I mean, there's not people with, $20 million accounts on there just upvoting each other's shit posts. Like you've got a standard of quality and the presentation and all that kind of stuff, and it's kind of there's a format for it. I don't want to say it's rigid, but there's a format for it that you stick to, and it obviously works because you've got a growing audience week in and week out. And I mean, that is just pure community building and networking.
And interestingly enough, ANCAP, that's one of the things that I think we've all noticed, is that we don't get people who post shit posts coming into PYPT.
Yeah, I agree.
There's no rule against it, but they just don't show up.
Do you think that part of that is because that they kind of know anyway, and they think I wouldn't dare go and publicly promote that, which I don't know. It would be interesting to see that, what would the outcome be of somebody doing that, of somebody coming on and saying, well, I just want to promote this picture, and it's just a random let's say it was a picture of a brick, and they just said, I want to promote this picture of a brick. What would people's perception be of that?
Well, because it's Discord. I mean, that might fly if you're just circle jerking with your whale buddies on Steemit itself. But on Discord servers aren't democratic, and there's 100 different ways to remove that or ban the person or whatever. Like, it's just not going to be allowed.
I have a feeling that should somebody show up with some kind of a random picture, like a brick, and that actually was a very good choice of random picture, because I suspect that's just about how it would fall, would be like a brick, and nobody would respond to it because they're used to seeing better quality.
Yeah, I mean, interestingly, it's like when you see them and they'll come in PYPT and they'll put their emoji up and then you'll recognize it and then they'll put it up again and all the way through they'll go, is it my turn yet? Is it my turn yet? Is it my turn yet? When's it my turn? Is it my turn yet? And then finally you'll go, you know what? Yes, finally it's your turn. They haven't got voice. They haven't got a paragraph ready. And then they'll post up the one-liner and you'll read it out and everybody will go, oh, okay.
Let's move on.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Princess Cat is saying it depends if you have something interesting to say about said brick. That's true, Katrina. However, they would need to say it in the post, I think, to get the attention.
Yeah.
I think that's your point, wasn't it, Crazy? That just the post was just one picture.
If it was just one picture of a random brick and they said, oh, this is a post of me posting a picture of a brick, how would people react to it?
I suspect it'd be silence.
Yeah, probably either silence or...
Either that, or if you catch somebody at the right day, they kind of go, what kind of post is that?
I think Mrs. Von Mises would jump all over it. I think she would jump all over it and she would just get rid of them within like 5 seconds.
Yeah, there's a reason Shadow's Pub has not given me that kind of power on her Discord, because I would use it.
Yeah, I didn't give you editor role. I knew there was a reason.
Yeah, I mean, anybody, because I don't, like, I think people on the internet tend to show their true nature. I think it's just a study. My therapist tells me that driving is a trigger for me, but it's not the driving. It's the study of human behavior when they think there's no consequences for their actions. And it's true on the internet. People think that they've got this anonymity, they're behind a computer screen or whatever, and they can just do whatever the fuck they want. But I don't warn people first. When somebody's acting like a dick, I have to assume it's because that person's a dick. And you're fucking right, I'm going to ban them.
Seeing as how it's not going to matter what I do here, and there will be no consequences for it, I've got something I want to share with you. And
Yeah,
Sarge,
go ahead.
you're open. This is this amazing brick that I just encountered, which I thought was really incredible because it's fascinating how the holes through it are asymmetrical and aren't the same size, even though it's from a man-made mold, which they could have made very consistent. And yet it's got a rough-hewn look to it. It's comprised of materials that are only found in the ground and nowhere else on Earth. So I thought it was really fascinating when I came across it. I just want to take a few minutes today to share with you all you could talk about a random brick and make it somewhat interesting for people beyond just, here's my brick, go click. Have a nice day.
Yeah, you should put that in a post, Cork.
Yeah.
All of it.
No, the moment's over. It's gone.
No, you know what? Well, it's all right because I'm going to now. I've just decided I'm going to post about a brick. I'm going to post about a brick, and I'm going to find
She's gonna be
everything out
listening to
about it.
the replay of this show so that he can put everything you just said.
I am. I've got
You
to
can have
record.
that one. That one's free on the house.
It's all right, Cork. I'll give you a mention of thanks at the bottom.
Well, I mean, you go pay a bunch of upvote bots and shit, you probably get that brick on trending.
Totally.
Let's make that this week's exercise. By next Sunday's Steemitizens of Steam, let's get a picture of a brick to the top of trending.
Yeah, let's say Crazy BG Adventure is gonna write just a total shit post with just a picture of a brick, and we're all gonna upvote the hell out of it so it ends up on
You don't
trending.
want your account destroyed, Crazy, you better let me take this fire.
Yeah, I mean, just because we can prove what a shit show trending is, I mean, I don't know that anybody would appreciate the joke outside of us, but it would be hilarious.
I think it would be an excellent example.
But here's an interesting metaphor. As a child, I flew model airplanes, and my older brother-in-law, who was a physicist from William and Mary, a prestigious university that teaches physics, He's a pretty smart guy. Point being, I was out in the yard flying different kinds of airplanes with little gasoline motors on them by Cox and testers back in the day. And one of the comments I made was that this plane I had built from a model didn't look at all like a plane, and I couldn't imagine how it could possibly fly. And he said, man, you can make a rock fly if you put a big enough motor on it. And I said, well, that's about right. So you could make a brick trend if you put a big enough motor on it.
There you have it. So everybody, let's post about bricks this week. Let's see how much interest that we can get if we
Hashtag brick life.
Yeah, hashtag. Let's do it. Hashtag brick life. Yeah. How many different types of bricks can we find?
That's actually how they described the F-4 Phantom during the Vietnam War, and Sarge can probably confirm this. They described it as a brick with enough propulsion to keep it aloft.
That's pretty much how I describe myself.
Oh my goodness. Sarge, I don't know if you're trying to speak because we can't hear you. I don't know if anybody else can hear Sarge, but I can't hear Sarge.
I think
No,
he's just got an
it's-
open mic and it's picking up.
No, it's not an open mic. I'm just trying to jump in here, but I don't want to overtalk people because that is my practice. But
This is my practice.
Artemis says, "Oh, I hear him." So, what are you trying to say?
that is why I pause. Yeah. Talk about Vietnam War. Yeah, I know about the Vietnam War. I was a boy. I missed it by 4 in 1979. I retired in 2000, about 18 years ago. Actually, anniversary of my retirement was January 21st, 2018. I hung up my guns and yeah. But anyway, to get in this conversation here, what you all are talking about, let's go back to the original topic, which
We're going to train the brick.
which was being real.
Well, no, the original topic was networking.
Can we get back to networking?
Well, we can get back to networking, but what we're actually doing at the same time is we're kind of doing that at the same time anyway. I mean, the thing being is that we know each other, and this is probably another classic example because even though that we came up with the brick theory, it's possibly something that we could do. This might be another example that we could take from networking. You know, networking's a never-ending thing. It's an ongoing thing. And, you know, we shouldn't forget that. And that's only my opinion, that we shouldn't forget the fact that even though that we know these people or we know each other and that we're talking and that, you know, we still have to talk in order to come up with new ideas, because if we don't come up with new ideas and new creations and new thoughts and new visions, then the platform just kind of maybe becomes a bit stagnant. And where's the fun in that?
Well, I think we're having a great deal of fun. And unlike Sir Cork, I love redheads. I really do. So I'm in the mold with you, young man, you know, but I'm too old to do anything, son. 2 popsicle sticks and some duct tape. Couldn't do nothing for you. Just emotional support. But let's get back to the original thing we were talking about was networking. And that's what I'm talking about. Being real. Don't ever have skeletons. And as I said, my mentors, I put a thing in the text, I listed a few, but not all. And I just want to give a shout out. I know this ain't shout out Saturday. Today is, what the fuck? Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse my language. This is pride time. What the dickens is today? Shout out. Saturdays is long past, but Melos 10. Young man, a mentor. I admire him. I'm old. I'm old as dirt. But you know, us old people can have mentors, and that's all about networking too. You know, a lot of the young people do stuff that we should have done when we were young. Uh, we were young, trying to impress folk, all this other stuff. So much time lost. So much time lost. And that's what it is about networking. I challenge everyone here, be yourself. Follow people that you're impressed by, not because they're popular on the platform or they're trending or anything else. The hell with the trending people. Johnny Clearwater, well, I ain't got a whole lot to say about that.
Okay.
But look,
Well, I
be
don't really
real.
think networking has much to do with age, so we're good.
No,
Yeah.
just be real. Be real, my people. Be real. Be you. That is STEAM success. Blog about your passions, no matter how weird. Well, you got Stephanus. He's got his own little demographic going on. Hey, do you. Do you. Don't be chasing Shadows Pub. Don't be chasing crazy. Don't be chasing Sir Court. Don't be coming into You Are Hope and thinking that, you know, we use that tag or maybe we use the Team Good tag and we're going to get noticed. I watch that Team Good tag with my one good eye, and there will be a post coming out about that when I get around to it. But I ain't got a whole lot of round to it's in my pocket.
Yeah, don't
Hey.
chase Shadow's Pub. She might stop and you'll catch her and you won't know what to do with her.
And while
That girl, because, and I'm absolutely honored. She was asked a question. I forget which forum it was on. It was the Steam experience. And I'm gonna tell you, I am so humbled. I am so humbled by what she said. And ANCAP Barbie is probably the same way. She's going to chime in on this, and I bet, yeah, she's in here. She's going to know what I'm talking about. When Battle Axe, and everybody knows Battle Axe, you've been on this platform for more than 2 months. You ain't seen her. You ain't in the right circles. She said, when asked by the host of the Steam Experience, if you could be anybody on the platform, who would you be? And she mentioned ANCAP and myself. And I'm going to tell you, that moved me. And she said, because they're real. They just put their shit out there for everybody to look at, the good, the bad, the ugly. To quote ANCAP, you know, and early on when she was doing things, the good, the bad, the ugly. You remember that? The good, the bad, the ugly?
Yeah, I've been meaning to get back to that, and I mean my highest.
Yeah, that's lovely. I don't know what the hell's going on.
all right, I'm just gonna take it back here for a moment, guys, because we're coming up to we have 12 minutes of airtime left. Look how quick that second hour is going. If you have just joined us, by the way, my name is Crazy BJ Adventure. Welcome to Crazy for Steam here on the Steam Star Network, which runs every Monday from 6 p.m. UTC right up till 8 o'clock p.m. UTC. And be sure not to go anywhere, because right after this show we have the lovely Rhonda Kay, and she's going to be talking about some wonderful hints and tips to writing. No doubt, I think she has guests on the show, and I think it's a big issue as well. So if we can loan her a lot of support. We are in the show control booth with Mrs. Van Mises, Shadows Pub, and Sir Cork. Sir Cork, if you've been listening in, has just posted up about what we've been talking about with the brick. So if you would like to go through and take a look, and as he said, if you've been listening in, you'll understand what it's about. If you haven't, then you're just going to have to wait and see, because it's an experiment. and it's going to be a very interesting experiment. In fact, I think I might do a post for the outcome if I haven't done a post for the brick anyway. I still can't believe you did a quote, but I think it's a great job. Really, really good job. It's just had me laughing out loud.
So we should all make brick posts now.
Yeah, we'll all make brick posts. You know, how many different varieties of bricks are there, for God's sake? There's got to be lots.
Okay, so let's figure out a tag for it that everybody can use as the first tag.
Brick Life. Coke did it. Brick Life.
Well,
Yeah.
you got two. You got two Jews in here. We're not really big on the brick thing with the whole straw and having to make damn bricks and stuff.
We did this for 400 years. It was not fun.
Well, this is the thing. I know, but putting that to one side, it would be definitely an interesting project. Hey, maybe that's something that we can do every week. Maybe we'll just take a random thing and we'll post about it. We'll get an object, we'll make a tag, we'll post about it, and then Cork can tell us the results on Steemit Essence of Steam on the Sunday. No pressure, Cork. No pressure.
I don't think that may be going towards spammy, but once or twice we can pull this off and we can make a point.
Yeah.
If we can trim the brick, because all of you go out of here and post about this all post and treat it like it's Curie material. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'll actually maybe throw some money at it once I get my next good payout, if I can get it in time and bought it up a little bit, just a little bit. I can't afford to trend it by myself.
Can I get a witness? Can I get a witness? Where are my witnesses? Where you at, engine? Where you at? Where are you at, mighty Yari? Come on, get on with the bricks. Hey, and Cap.
Yeah.
And Cap, get Battle Axe. Let me see. That's you, me.
Sarge, I think you need to let Crazy finish out the show.
I'm sorry.
All right. Okay. So that's I totally see where you're coming from there, Sir Cook. You're absolutely right. Yeah, too many will come across as spammy, but definitely it is a very, very interesting thing. Can we get the brick post trend? Can we do it? Can we make it trend? And then is it putting a point across? So yeah, I'm really, really looking forward to seeing what the outcome of this. I don't know. Should we put it in PYPT? We should, shouldn't we?
Why not? It could be good for a laugh.
I'm gonna pimp it. I'll pimp it Thursday. When is that? Thursday? Today's what? Monday? Yeah, I'll pimp it to God Unknown Futures. We'll try.
Yeah, Cork, pimp your post Thursday is on Thursday.
Where can I listen?
It's kind of built into the name.
You can listen on the SteamStar network at steamstar.net on YouTube, or if you're really lame, on Discord.
Exactly. And I heard some about that happening in the Steemit Ramble Discord, as a matter of fact.
Oh, that's right. There's the Steam
Yeah,
and
it's
Ramble
funny.
Discord.
It shows up over there.
Absolutely. And don't forget, guys, as well, that if you forget any of these shows, you can catch them on replays as well. And if you follow the likes of Shadow and myself and everything else, you'll probably find that the replays are going to be available on posts as well. So there's no reason to ever feel that you're going to miss out on any of these. I know Cork, Steam Citizens of Steam, and I think the UR Hope Town Hall meetings are both on the replay. Ethan's are definitely on replay. Mine are soon to go on replay because I've just recorded my first post. I just need to work out the techie bit, but I'm getting better with the techie bits. So we're coming up to 10. Oh, sorry, I'm looking at my time. 7:54 p.m. UTC. We have 6 minutes before we're on the K show. So what have we been talking about? We've been talking about networking, everything and anything to get to know about networking and how to be better at networking, because when you do this and you get into these circles and you talk to these wonderful people together, you can create anything that you want to with very, very little. There's some amazing initiatives of people just coming together and just talking, you know, and getting to know each other and coming up with some amazing, absolutely incredible ideas, you know, to make it entertaining, educational, valuable, and it's decent content, you know. It's really decent content from good people who really want to work on the platform and see the platform grow, and we're doing that, guys. We're really doing that. So never ever be scared is my advice about networking. Now very quickly, we've got 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Mrs. Van Mises, what would be your best top tip to somebody who wanted to go out and network tomorrow? Crickets. Okay, right. Shadow, we're going to come to you because I'm going to see you're like the queen of networking. So, Shadow, what would be your top tip?
Oh
What's going to be your top tip to somebody who wants to,
no!
if somebody wanted to start networking, what would be your top tip?
Well, if you're new on the platform, absolutely new on the platform, you got to comment on posts. And then the next thing you need to do is get yourself on Discord, start joining some of the best Discords like, I don't know, SteamStar, the Steemit Ramble, Writer's Block, the Steam Engine, the Alliance, and talk to people, get to know them.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm seeing comments as well, so people are echoing that as well. Cork, have you got anything to add to that?
Something very specific to echo the comments thing that's going on in chat right now. When I joined this platform in June of 2017, I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know anybody. I didn't know anything. I wandered in off the street, right? Like from a blog post somewhere. So I had no connection to not even one person on the platform. 0 days, $0, zero invested, a $13.99 or $14, SP account I signed up for and got. Okay, so with nothing, I walk in and here's what I did. By the end of the first week, I had 500 legitimate organic followers without requesting a follow once. By the end of the first month, I was working in PAL. By the end of the second month, I built a radio station and been a part of leadership and modding in PAL. So let me tell you how that happened that fast. Okay. The way that happened was very specifically comments, but a specific kind. I went to the introduce yourself tag area and opened up just that tag, hundreds of introduce yourself posts. I read all the ones with titles that interested me or pictures that interested me. I actually read them. And I actually spent around 3 hours a night, to be very specific, for about a week, genuinely responding and welcoming people that, I just got here too. But here I was saying, wow, you're into bricks? I'm really into bricks. Let me tell you about my brick collection. And I'd love to see a picture of yours. Okay. Boom, instant friend, instant follow. Never asked for it. I just said hello. I genuinely networked with all these people in this giant cocktail party of newbies in the foyer, in the waiting room, waiting to get in here to the rest of us in the Introduce Yourself channel. Within a week, I had hundreds of people as followers. Within a couple of months, I was like cresting, 500 and 600 and 700 and 800. Now I'm up around 3,000 because I've totally slacked off on that. And it's very valuable to go and comment, but specifically maybe to people that are looking to make some friends.
Wow. Yeah.
And don't try to follow 10,000 people all at once.
Oh, God, no.
It's the worst
No.
mistake you'll ever make. But if you make it, you can come to my site at steem.agency and manage your followers much more efficiently.
I
Totally.
see it a lot where people have got 10 or 15, 15 or 20 SP, and they'll follow me and they're following 10,000 people. And it's like, are you kidding me? You're not even looking at who you're following.
Pre-interrupt votes from some of you just on principle. And it does happen to a degree. Some of those people can live on 10 cents a day. So you got to imagine that's going to keep happening. Just work around it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And as much as that I want this conversation to continue, we have like less than a minute left, and I see Rhonda Kay has joined us, ready for her show. So guys, thank you all so very, very much. Thank you everybody who joined me in the show control booth. I am so on a high because I managed to work out the audio. I would like to thank everybody who participated and who listened in. Thank you so much. Be sure to tune in next Monday, which off the top of my head, I can't remember what it's going to be, but I will let you know throughout the week. And have a great week, everybody. Have fun on the platform. Get networking. Get meeting these people. I am Crazy BG Adventure. I have been your host. You're awesome. And I'll catch up with you all next week. Until then, bye-bye, everyone. Bye-bye.